excited this morning because today we are going to talk about, and we'll have to put this link in the show notes. I'll have to make sure I send it to my girl. Actually, let me send it to her now. Okay. So you guys, let me make sure I'm being clear. Good morning. Today is Friday, September the 5th, 2025. And I've been waiting on this day all week long. So I have a brand new workshop that I'm doing. So if anybody's listening to me now, I'll be, will I go live? No, I won't go live later. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I have a workshop that I'm doing later that I'm really excited about. It's a free workshop for entrepreneurial couples that have an entrepreneurial component. So I've been working on that really, really hard. So I'm so excited to give that today and see who shows up to that. So it's the September 5th date. I'm like, it's here. It's finally here. All right, but
in case people are watching, what time is what time
is? Who knows? Hold on, let's see.
Because I don't my calendar.
I just kind of follow my calendar. I don't know really when really things are. I just know it was on Friday the 5th and it should show up today. And so that's a good question. It is going to be at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. So, and the name of it is 3 Keys to Ignite Your Relationship. That is not the name of it. I changed the name of it. Sorry, that's the old name. The new name of it is The Real Reason Why Entrepreneurial Couples Struggle and How to Stop It. And so I'm very excited. We're just going to talk about 3 very practical things to do. So, but this morning I'm excited about the conversation because the implications for what we're talking about today is, I think, far-reaching and an extension of our AI conversation from last week. And so last week we just talked about AI. Should AI be your relationship coach? This week we're talking about there is a brothel in which all of the workers are robots or sex dolls. Yep. With probably some AI in them, I would imagine. And so therefore, when you walk in the room, the sex doll is able to greet you. Does she have any movement capabilities, I wonder?
The research I was doing on this, Natalie, is so interesting. So yes, like these are like robots. So there are like they can move some, although it seems that like it's more like posable than like, I don't think it gets up blocks, like that kind of stuff. There's some movement with them, as well as the AI component, like it has conversations. It asks you, it says your name, like has all kinds of programs that can run.
So, in the power of a human being to project personality on an inanimate object, coupled with the feel of this, I can see this getting good and bad. Like I can see it being really good, and I can see it being really bad. Yeah. And so I just think of poor guy. I know he didn't mean this, but when I think of the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks, and how he talked to Wilson every day. Because my belief is, and I'm one of those humans that would need to talk every day.
We need connection, right?
We need to, and so we're going to make that connection. What I have known as a sex therapist is everybody doesn't get married. Everybody doesn't find a partner. That there are some people that have some, and I want to couch this correctly, because I know people who have some physical abnormalities, and that hasn't stopped them from anything. Like they're living their best life and the best relationship and everything. But I also know some people who have had some physical challenges and it has stopped them. Yeah. And so I also know people who live in areas where there aren't enough partners. There are various parts of the world where there are not enough sexual partners. It's not 50% men, 50% women. There's a lid for every pot. And I've heard that being said, oh, there's a lid for every pot. In some cultures, the men significantly outnumber the women. And then there's also some cultures where the women significantly outnumber the men. And so I'm very torn over this subject because I know that there are people that need connection that will not be able to find it in a human partner for whatever the reason.
Yeah.
Also, this is a little taboo. There are some people who have some sexual proclivities that we all would be abhorrent had they if they did that with another human being.
Yeah.
And this might be an outlet for them.
Oh,
And so like
yes. Yes.
like yeah. And so and I think my heart is hurts for the absolutely healthy person who could have a partner, like they're in a culture in which, or a part of the world in which they could find a partner, and like fears and anxieties and things that they could work through,
Yeah.
they're not going to because they're going to go use something like this and never face. Like all my people who have anxiety before the pandemic gave them a perfect excuse not to go to the store,
Right.
not to go to work, not to go to the store, not to go to anything. And I know some of you guys were hiding. Like I know, because I know at least two of my clients was like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever!" Like
Yeah.
people aren't
I,
expecting me to show up anymore, and I can just stay in my safe world and my safe apartment and never go outside again.
I know
Um,
some just finally returned to the office because they've had 5 years now.
wow.
And somebody in my personal life, so I won't identify them anymore, but it was really yeah, the pandemic gave this cover to
Yeah.
really like dive deeper into their anxiety and think I'm so proud of them. If you're watching, I'm so proud of you. But now
Right.
saying about this robot brothel, cybo brothel, I'm reading the name
Right.
cyber brothel. Yes to everything. We have clients, we know people that for one reason or another, physical, kink, whatever, like they struggle, or as you said, communities without a lot of partners available.
Right.
Folks, clients, people in our lives who have struggled to connect. And I think that as we know, like the sexual urges and sexual health is so important. We can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
And so I both love and hate this option of this.
Right.
I'm like so conflicted about it
Yeah.
because I'm thinking about some of the kinks, the more like you said, the proclivities that are really on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
We even in our field consider normal because we have a
Mm-hmm.
than a lot of folks.
Right.
Um, this can be a way to indulge in that in a legal, safe way where you're not harming
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
When I think that's such a great example you give with Castaway and Tom Hanks and Wilson.
Yeah.
That out of desperation, sometimes we create these
Mm-hmm.
human connections
Mm-hmm.
when maybe someone needs actually just some other counseling or support to like get themselves out there. So
Yeah.
it's such an interesting topic. I'm so glad we're talking
It
about it.
is such an interesting topic. And I want to make y'all laugh for a second. One time I was with one of my friends, and I don't know what I was saying to my laptop, iPad, computer, who knows. And she was just like, you talk so nicely to your electronics."
I always say thank you to my Alexa.
I know, I do too. And I think that's just, we already as human beings have that capacity to project onto an inanimate object, and laugh with it and joke with it. And so with Alexa lately, watch her say something any second now because I just said her name. But what has been happening lately is I'll ask her to do something and she won't do it. My partner will say the same thing and she'll do it.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I literally was like, okay, little girl, I'm the one who pays your power bill. You've been like,
Come on.
you better pay attention to me. I'm the one who pays your power bill. And so, but it just, I was like, you better not answer him. So, but it's like that's how much we can give an inanimate object, and we're talking about my dot, like an inanimate object that's a little bigger than a hockey puck, because it has some AI capability, and I don't even know if that's AI or just
Yes, it is.
program. Okay, some AI, some very little AI capability, and so it's just going to be really interesting to see where we are in 10 years with this. And I
Yeah.
already know that people were like ordering sex dolls. You know,
Mhm.
there was an article or something came out. One of the Kardashians' ex-husband, Lamar Odom, had
Okay.
ordered a sex doll that looked exactly like his ex-wife, which
Yeah.
was one of the Kardashian sisters. And so that's why I hit the news, like, what is this? And so, is that sick and depraved? Is that a healthy way of coping? Is that, you
Refusing.
know,
Like,
right? I mean, because think about it. Okay. So I don't know if you were trained on Gestalt empty chair, but there's Gestalt therapy. There's something we do called the empty chair, where we put an empty chair in front of you, and you pretend that somebody, your mom, your dad, your sister, your fifth grade teacher, somebody, and you have the conversation with them of whatever you need. How powerful is that when it's a likeness of that person? And also scary at the same time that anybody could make a doll of you and just be sitting in their house
yeah.
thinking they're talking to you. Like, so scared about that. And also, there's a little part of me of like, how healing would that be if I could say everything I needed to say to this person, get it out, and then them say the words that I need for my healing? What about the person who parent passes away,
Her spouse. Yeah.
their spouse or something, child even, to be able to really sit with the likeness of that person and say everything you needed to say. And it's not real, but I think it would heal something or
Yeah.
give you a measure of healing. Especially, I'm really thinking about people whose parents, where there was really kind of something more egregious that the parent did, and then before they were able to fix it, so for essentially an adult child or anybody to hear their parents say,
Yeah. I'm sorry, or whatever. Yeah. Whatever you need to hear.
right? So, because after a while, I don't know if you guys have experienced things where you're like, did I see that on TV or is that real life? Where did
Right.
information from? And so that's the power of our brain to consolidate information in a way and for us to take it away. So, yeah, the implications are crazy. Okay, what other thoughts are you having? Oh, look at you, you're down to like a half calf. That's so nice.
So,
Yay. Okay, I see your progress. Okay.
thank you. Yeah, I was thinking there was a movie that came out 10 or 12 years ago with Joaquin Phoenix called Her.
Yeah.
And it's really right in this question
Mhm.
where a man, and I saw it when it came out. It's been a while, so I might get some details wrong, but a man falls in love with his Alexa, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Universe where we have AI and it's helping us through life, and and it's voiced by the beautiful, sexy Scarlett Johansson, who
Yeah.
voices that's very relatable. I think
Mhm.
with that voice could be a good therapist. She's got such a calming voice.
Yeah.
But it really explore the themes of loneliness that we touch on. Love. Can we love a computer? And how do we like stay connected humanly in a
Yeah.
world that keeps getting more and more and more complicated?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I think about a lot. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have kids now. I think a lot. Um, 100 years ago, when families like moved across the country, or
Mhm.
let's say a husband and wife got split up, and like
Yeah.
husband had to go work in the mines in California,
Yeah.
you would probably never see that person again
Right.
if they
Right.
would. or you might see them one more time, or you would write,
Yeah.
you know, and we over the years we've gotten the telephone. There were letters, and then there were telegraphs, and then telephone and video. That remember those satellite video calls that people could do in the 90s that like
Yeah.
you, and now we've got, our we can do our FaceTime and
Right.
and maybe this is the next iteration of human connection for us. I mean, I think about a scientist out on Antarctica, or somebody who's lost their whole family to a disaster,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not able to find a new partner for whatever reason.
Right.
This allows them to have that connection.
Yeah.
Now, this cyber, to go back to like what we were originally talking about, the cyber brothel, the author that I read this article and we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
she talks about like it isn't the like, she at first was like weirded out by like the robot bodies because they feel very human. She
Yeah.
said, they're warm,
Mm-hmm.
they have secretions, they like they breathe.
Oh, I didn't know they had secretions. I didn't read that. Okay.
There's all different things that I mean, if that's what you want it to have, like it can have all these things. It really is like a cafeteria of sorts. You remember like going through with your grandparents at the cafeteria to pick one thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a full menu to decide. And she said, like the author said, like that part didn't freak her out so much. She's like, like sex toys have been around a long time, like partners out, like kink partners, like that didn't, but she was like something about the interaction, the AI interaction, and they had VR also. So like you could put on a headset and
Oh,
like
wow.
it would look even more like you could put on a headset and be facing the robot and it's even more animated. So like you could hold the robot's hands and
Oh,
hold
wow.
sitting in bed with the robot or in a chair and have the VR headset on and it's even more animated and human like. And so it's like whatever you want, however you want to like pick your
Yeah.
poison. I hate that, and not that it's but pick
Yeah.
your curate your experience, right? Like that. It
That's
was,
so interesting.
and I think about myself and I'm thinking, and take the brothel part out of it, even just interacting with like a humanoid, like some kind of human robot. The AI part, I think, would be the strangest for me to acclimate to. Like,
When you think about like the deep fakes and the power of that, like, yeah, I think for some people it would be hard to acclimate to. But let's say, okay, the story that just played in my head, because apparently I'm really animated today, um, is a wife who's lost her husband, who can't sleep at night anymore because she has slept in the bed with this man for the last 60 years,
yeah,
to now be able to get a doll in her husband's likeness, in her husband's voice,
hmm,
to also mirror his sleeping patterns,
yeah.
like either the snoring or the talking in the sleep or whatnot. The
Right.
things that
In the bed beside
ignore,
her.
right? Like the power, the healing power of that. And you know, I don't even know what I want to say.
Yeah, and it's
Like
interesting.
it's yeah.
you know, as somebody who worked as a pastor before I came to a as to work as a therapist, this is a conversation that in the faith community among pastors we talk about a lot. With because AI is starting to create these likenesses, holograms.
Yeah.
There's this whole idea of in the death industry, and I mean like funeral homes and things like that,
Right.
um, like let's say you could get a QR code on your headstone and you could scan it, your grandkids could scan it with their phone and up pops like a hologram on
Oh,
of you, like, or a pic or a video of you
yeah. Well, they do that on the movies all the time.
telling on the movies. But, and how do people move on if we can keep, like, how do we
Right?
virtually and emotionally and sexually, if we lose a partner, like our widow in your example, how do we move on when somebody is gone? Do we have to move on? Like
Yeah.
It's a whole fascinating conversation, sexually, spiritually, emotionally, otherwise. Like, do we have to move on when someone's gone?
That's a good question.
We've always had to, but do we?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I think that the deeper question is what is healed? What is healing? You know,
Hmm.
what does that mean to be healed, to function well? Um, yeah, this is so interesting. And I know we've taken it kind of away from sex. And and I also gotta say, for the people who want to like run a brothel, that this is totally legal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
totally legal because it's not human to human contact. You're not selling sex with another human being. So I'm also wondering the whole kind of sex trafficking part of the
right.
world, the industry, could just take that away.
That
Like,
would be
could this be an industry changer with
that would
and
be the.
then
But then think about some of the people who are, and I don't want to get too specific because I don't want to
right?
trigger any kind of like safety on the internet protocol stuff. But think about some of the ages or traits of some of the people that get targeted or and
Hmm.
trafficked. So we want like dolls of them created.
Right? That's really scary.
Because I mean that would be like the perfect, if no women and men who have been trafficked, if we could like remove victimhood out of trafficking, right? Like
Mhm.
what a gift to humanity.
Hmm.
And where do we like what's then like how what's the next extreme push like with the dolls? Like what it's so
I think
complicated.
it's going to be a Pandora's box, and I think it can go either way. And it's going to be interesting to see how many people are still like, no, I want the real thing.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the author that in that article I wrote that read that I sent you last week. Like that was, I think, a question the author asked. Like, even if this is available, I think I want the real thing.
Hmm.
With all its like hardships and dating and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me think of it's a difference, but it makes me think of something somebody said to me like around 2000 when I was coming out of high school and getting started in life. And it was an older man in our family. And I was talking about email, and he's like, real business is done on paper. Obviously, I'm looking back and, my printer over here has been broken for 4 months and I haven't fixed it yet because I just,
Right. Yeah.
you know, might prefer, people, 40, 30, 40, 50 might prefer the real thing, but I want
Hmm.
what our kids and grandkids will think of it.
That's so interesting because it has changed. I mean, I just think when kind of online dating first started in the
Huh.
church, we were like, that's not of God. And then it
Right?
was just like the same God that has to have two people show up at McDonald's at the same time to meet is the same God that would have to have people get on the right website at the right time
Yeah.
and the algorithm to work for them. That's probably more God than two people in a small town meeting at McDonald's with a local sock hop. And so
You're
the
right.
world is.
Attitudes change and things change. So it's just, this is another interesting, I think, aspect of our work that I think will probably start coming up. These robots, this AI, like, they even had an option for like threesomes here. If you want to bring, that's another, you and your partner want to have a threesome, but you're not really sure about introducing a real human being. I
Right?
think that gets really complicated sometimes.
Yeah. Or
Maybe,
think about our clients who have um, essentially like almost kind of like sexual anorexia, really
yeah,
adverse to,
sure.
yeah, like a naked human body or something. Or um, I'm thinking like the implications with vaginismus,
Mhm.
and so because part of it is dealing with another human body. And so, but what if you're not dating, you know, but you want to get used to a
Yeah,
human body, something, and how like that could be really cool.
yeah,
So it's so interesting. I think like all the wonderful things of the world, the internet included, probably the biggest thing is it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Like it could go either way. like alcohol. It can go either way. It can be fabulous, and it can
Ruin
uh, yeah, lower some inhibitions and bring liveliness to a wedding, a party, or something. And then it can also like have somebody be a drunk driver. And so use sex dolls responsibly.
like I think we ended last week like if we were for or against like AI as your
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah. If I had to answer that question this week, I think I would say I'm like in the for category, like in the yes category for these brothels and robots.
Uh-huh.
Ask me again in 5 years. but,
Right.
but I do think that the opportunity for positive interaction, especially in view of kind of the things we've talked about, like I think that there's a real opportunity for positive stuff
Yeah.
happening. But we'll see.
I want to say, and I think I said this. I have no idea when I said this, but I think I said it last week. It just makes me want to say like buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
It's
Like as the world gets smaller. So this brothel is in Berlin, but the world is continuing to get smaller. It's continue like people are um,
I would
like
bet.
right now. My best friend lives in Costa Rica,
Mhm.
and so traveling, don't want to go down there for like it's the world is just so much smaller and it's
I,
easier to get places.
I
And
would,
so
Natalie, I would bet that this is already in the US. We might even have this in Atlanta already. And
oh
we just
wow.
like I think that this is
Right.
to become the next like sex club, you know.
Really? I
I
could
think
see that.
yeah.
I could see that. I would go just for the novelty of it. Like it's
It's
been a while since I've been to an ASEC conference, and the last ASEC conference was pre-pandemic that I went to. But I remember like touching the sex dolls because they had them there, and I was like,
it feels like scam. And
yeah.
really
Like this, I remember thinking this girl has some weight to her. Like this is not the blow up doll from yesteryear. This is a viable
at this art
partner.
I'm
Yeah.
looking like they have the dolls pictured, some of them naked, and yeah, they're different shapes, they are different sizes, they come in different weights and skin tones. So I think it's a win. I think it's or at least a potential win. I think it could be really cool.
I think it'd be really cool too. All right. It's 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for bringing this conversation. And everybody have a wonderful Friday. All right. Bye
Sure.
bye.
See you later.